Hi everyone, it's Leah from Pickle Crafts. Thanks for popping in today. I'm just coming on to do a quick video of this card that I made. I call it a trophy card. I don't know what other people call it, but I love it because it folds nice and flat and can stand up to put on a mantle or whatever. So anyway, I put it up and I got loads of interest and I figured I'd do a quick video. Well, I'll try and do it as quick as I can. A video on how I made it. So let's get started. So I'm going to be using the Light and Peace stamp set, which is in the current autumn and winter catalogue of 2019. And I have to say, I love this stamp set. I know it's a little bit more traditional and everything, but I don't know. There's something about it that I just had to get it. So yeah, so I'm just going to use the angel from it. And I'm going to put on our block. Right, so what you're going to need is you're going to need a piece of Pretty Peacock cardstock that measures 4¼ by 10 inches. You are also going to need another piece of Pretty Peacock cardstock for the pop-up bit, which is 2¾ by 5½ inches. And don't worry about the measurements, I will put them in the description below. You're also going to need some Noble Peacock DSP, 1 by 2½ by 4. You're going to need 3 pieces that are 4 inches by 1 inch, and then a piece of Whisper White that's 2¼ by 3¾ and then just some scrap. So let's get started. So I'm going to take my big piece of Pretty Peacock cardstock and I'm just going to score it real quick. If I can find a scoring tool somewhere in here. Here's one. So you're going to score every 1¼ inch. So it's 1¼ 2½, 3¾ 5, 6¼ 7½, and 8¾ So it's as simple as that. And then what you're going to need, either using a craft knife or a trimmer, and you can do it on your scoreboard if you have a craft knife, anything really. All you're going to do is you're going to fold it at the 5-inch mark, and I'm just going to stick it in my trimmer real quick, and we just need to cut a slit. So I give it a little bit of a space on either end, and my blades are dying. There we go. It doesn't need to be super pretty because to give it the room anyway to have extra layers, you're going to have to do some trimming. So what I just do is I just open it up and I go stick my scissors in the slit, and on either end of the slit I just cut off a little chunk of it. And this way it just gives it the room to add on the layers. You know, if you just had the one layer, if you didn't have like the DSP and the stamped image and the cardstock, if you just kind of had the cardstock with the stamped image on it, you wouldn't need to do this as much. But because I wanted to add on the extra layers, I needed to I just need to cut a little bit off. So yeah, but I'm hoping hopefully in the next month or so we'll be getting new trimmers, because our Stampin' Up! Trimmers have obviously now retired, and I didn't even try and fight for new blades, so because it just, to me, it wasn't worth it. So hopefully in the next month or so I will have a new fabulous trimmer to show you. So anyway, there's my little slit cut. Now obviously I'll probably cut some more later on as I put it together, but I'm just going to go and fold and burnish all of my score lines real quick. So it's nice and easy. And there's the base, and as you can see, it's just going to fold in to itself like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get it ready. So I'm going to lay it flat, and I'm just going to use some score tape real quick. And just on that, I'm just going to fold up the one flap, and I'm just going to put score tape on the top and bottom of that flap. And then I'm going to do it on the other end as well. Oops. I need to get some new score tape. Or tearing tape, I should say, not score tape. Let me just grab a new roll. You know, I never really used to use this. I was always like a fast fuse person before it retired. And in fairness, I still have quite a good stock of it. But I started using it just because it got really easy, because I can just tear it and away I go. I never needed scissors. So that's your adhesive bit done. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the flap and you just need to make sure that it fits in, you know, that there's loads of room. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it through the hole, and I'm just going to get it to where it's pretty much centered. And I'm going to peel off my tear and tape backing. That didn't peel very well. There we go. And I'm just going to, again, making sure it's centered, lining it up at the bottom. It would help if I peeled off the bottom part as well. Oh my goodness. This new roll has super sticky backs. There we go. Lining it up at the bottom of the cardstock, just at that fold. I'm just going to stick it down. There we go. And then that bit's done. So as you can see, it will pop up once it's ready. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to stick on the DSP as well right now, just so that it's easier and that all the flaps kind of stick to it. So I'm just going to put some score tape down, or some tear tape. And the funniest thing, when I made this card, I was showing my daughter and she goes, "Why does this bit keep coming off?" And I said, "What bit? What are you talking about?" And I had forgotten to actually stick down the DSP. I was lining it up to see where it could go, and I never actually put any tear and tape on the back of it. And I built the entire project, put it all together, it was all ready, la-di-da-di-da, and I never actually I never realized that I hadn't actually stuck it down. So it was stuck because the two bottom flaps obviously meet and hold it in place, but I hadn't actually stuck it down anywhere else. So right, so I'm just going to stick it through the flap, and I'm just going to get it to where it's centered, more or less the same. And I'm just going to stick it down. And for some unknown reason, I think I've measured my cut wrong. I've told you the right measurement, but I've cut it incorrectly. But that's okay. I've told you the right measurement, but for some unknown reason, I cut it the wrong way. So I'm just going to trim it. Oh goodness, the silly things that sometimes I do. Right, easily fixed. Right, so that bit's down. And as you can see, your image is then going to go on your next layer, but you don't really need to stick it down because it's long enough. Now, I kept mine short so that when I pop it up, it kind of uses itself as a way to keep the bottom from popping up. You can make it longer if you don't want to have that gap, but I liked it as a way of it keeping itself from propping up. So I'm just going to take off the backing of the tape on the other tab. Oh my goodness, nothing wants to work today. There we go. Right, so you can take the backing off the other tab, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it over, and because I've already folded that half part at that 5 inches part, I'm just going to fold them till they meet, give them a nice press down to make sure they stick, and there's your base. Yeah, so it's lovely and ready to go. Now we just need to decorate. So while I'm here with my pretty peacock parts, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tear and tape on the 3 pieces. Now you can use 4 if you'd like. I only decided to use 3. And to be honest, the only reason I used 3 originally was because I made a mistake. And then when I pulled it off, it needed to be covered because it kind of marked the cardstock. So it ended up with 3. Yeah, otherwise it was only going to be 1, to be honest. But, oh well, it adds a little extra shimmer and shine, a little extra sparkle. Sorry, my grid paper keeps moving around. So yes, I'm just going to put some tape on this real quick. There we go. And they're all the same size, so it doesn't really matter which way, where they all go. But I'm just going to put, why they all stick together now. So I'm just going to put one on this tab, on this front bit. And the joys of it, because it folds flat, I can do it as I go. I'll stick one there. I'm then going to get, oh, they're all sticking together. I'm then going to get another one. Again, if I can get the backing off. You know, I don't know why I want to keep calling it score tape. And I'm just going to line it up so it relatively matches and lines up with that front panel and stick it down. And I'm going to do a back one. Again, these two on the top aren't needed. None of them are needed if you don't want them. I just thought, because I had accidentally put one in the wrong spot, and then it messed up the cardstock, I said, oh no, this needs to be fixed. So I can see already that this is going to be a little bit snug once I put on that second layer. So what I might do, just real quick, is I'm just going to stick my scissors in and just give it a quick little trim. Obviously be careful of your fingers. There. So that's the base bit done. Now just to do some stamping. So I've got my piece of Whisper White here, and I have my angel. And today I'm going to use Memento ink because I'm going to use our Stampin' Blends to give her some color. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink her up a bit, give her a good bit of ink. And then I'm just going to put her a little bit higher than normal. And there she is. Now, one of the things people asked me was, how did I get this sponged background around her so I could still color? So I stamped her onto some post-it notes and some post-it tape. So it has a sticky background here, and all I did was stamp it and then cut it out. So I'm just going to line it up, and as you can see, it's already yellow because I did the last card with this one. So as you can, if you use a good post-it note or post-it tape, they can usually last a while. So I'm just going to lay it on top, just as a mask, just to mask it off. And I'm going to get my Daffodil Delight ink, and ignoring the state of my sponge because I wash them and use them for everything, I'm just going to ink up my sponge a bit, make sure it's got some ink on it, and I'm just going to start in a circle, kind of sponging that mask and going out and around. So I try to do it a little bit darker around the angel and then kind of spread out as if she had like a bit of an aura. Now there's no rhyme or reason to this, and anybody who knows me knows that I'm not always the best at colouring and sponging especially is something new to me. I've just gotten some new tools somebody's recommended, so I'm hoping to try those out in my next project or so we'll see what happens. But yeah, you just give it a bit of a sponge until you're happy with the colour, and I'm pretty happy with that colouring. I'm a little bit darker, but that's okay, doesn't bother me. No two cards are the same when they're handmade. And all you're going to do is peel off the mask, and there you go, you've got your perfect little angel ready to colour. So now I'm just going to take out my blend. So for the dress, I'm using Rococo Rose, so I'm going to use the dark and the light. And there's no perfect way of colouring, and I just kind of do it however I feel, to be honest. So I'm just going to use the dark one, and I'm going to kind of do about half of the right hand side of her dress. And I'm going to do some of her sleeves. Just some of the different bits. Again, there's no rhyme or reason. I don't know. People have all different ways of doing it. This is just the way I do it, and I found that it works okay. And then I'm just going to start doing it in circles with the light one. Obviously starting where I originally did the dark color, and I'm just going to start blending it in. And then just start coloring out, and it just gives it a little bit of a highlight. There we go. And the same up here. Now again, I'm using the brush end, but you can turn it the other way and use the pen end if you like. I tend to use the pen end only for the smaller details. The dress and stuff, I definitely would use the brush end, but that's just me. Again, there's no right or wrong. So I'm just going to finish the dress. And there we go. So I'm happy with that dress. I'm then going to use my bronze to give her some color in her hair, which again is nice and easy. You don't have to worry about shading. Anybody who ever knows me with, especially my blends, I don't really do a lot of shading. I just kind of color. I'm going to use the ivory then for her skin. Again, these colors you can pick and choose whatever colors you like. These are the colors I went for. And you can leave her wings white, but I kind of felt like when I look at Angel's wings, they're not always perfectly white, or the ones I see. So I've just used Light Pool Party, and it's just to give it just a little bit of a color to it. Not loads. I'm not giving it... I don't know if it's because I usually see them in stained glass windows and they don't always look perfectly white, but I'm just giving it just a little bit of color. And then that's it. That's all the coloring you need. Now, I like a little bit of sparkle, so I'm going to use my Wink of Stella, and I'm hoping I still have a little bit left in it. And that one looks empty. And I'm just going to put it on the wings mainly, just to give it a little bit of sparkle. And I am pretty much out of Wink of Stella, so I really need to order some more. As you can see, I have 2 of them. I use them a lot. I didn't think I would. I never really ordered them, and somebody said that they had one and they just never used it, and she offered to give it to me, so she sent it to me, and it was like the greatest thing ever. I was like, I couldn't figure out how I had gone all this time without ever using my Wink of Stella. Right, now my tip is these pens still have glitter in them, and I know they do because I can hear it inside. So what I do, it's a little bit messy, so be prepared, is I actually take off, and I think I've done it, I think I did it with the other pen a lot easier. You can actually take them apart, so obviously they untwist, and I've pulled off the black bit, and watch, now it's not going to work today. Oh my goodness, I'm just going to make a mess. I know it is. This is going to like squirt everywhere. There we go. So I've just taken it off, and you end up getting the inside with all the glitter. So what I do is I just kind of, using my other brush, good thing I have 2, I always use it like as a paint palette, so I just kind of dip it in, get some of it off, because obviously otherwise my wings will turn gold, as you can see. And then I just kind of brush it on, just like I would paint. And just to get that extra sparkle, and otherwise I waste all that ink, or that glitter, and I don't really want to waste glitter. And then I'm just going to put some on her dress, just to give her a bit of a sparkle on her dress. Again, this is all optional. This is not something you have to do. I just like a bit of sparkle. I don't know if you can see it going on. I'll see if I can show you in a second, but it kind of becomes a little bit more, it just gives it a slightly different tone to it. Right, let's have a look. Ooh, so I don't know if you can see the sparkle on it. Let's see if it's full. There's just like a slight shine to it. So yeah, so I'm going to put these away now because that's all I need to do with that. Put the lid back on this one so I don't get glitter everywhere. And then now all I need to do is put some tear and tape on her and then stick her to the card. I really need to find a way to get my grid paper to stay stuck. I'm just going to peel off all the backings. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is stick her down. So I've kind of put her more up to the top, just to kind of keep it balanced. I'm just going to stick her down. And there she is. There's your card. And like I said, it's still a little snug, so I can still trim it. There we go. And you've got to play with it a bit for the card to kind of get used to how it's supposed to fold and everything. But yeah, so there's that bit. And then all that's left is the greeting. So using the same stamp set, I've used the Christmas Blessings. And I'm just going to put it on a block. And then I've just gotten scrap Whisper White. There's no point using a whole sheet for it, just use what I had lying around. So I'm going to ink it up again in Memento because that's what I have here. And I'm just going to stamp it on. And then I'm going to get my rectangle stitched framelits. And I think I used this one. I'm just going to use the, I'm going to use the smallest of the thin ones. I don't know. And it kind of just fits. So I'm going to go over, because my Big Shot's over on that part of my desk. I'm just going to go over and run it through the Big Shot real quick. A tip that I have, if you're worried about it kind of wiggling, especially because this is going to be a tight fit, is I always get it to where I want it to go, where I want it to line up, and then I just stick a post-it note. And then so there's no wiggle, it doesn't have to worry about moving. So I'm just going to run this through my Big Shot real quick. Hang on. I'd love to know how your craft room is organized. Especially your desk. I'm always looking at ideas of how to reorganize my desk. So anyway, there it is, ready to pop out, all lined up and ready to go. So easy peasy. I'm gonna get rid of all the scraps. I'm just gonna flip it over, put a little bit of tape on the back, and if you wanted, you could use dimensionals, you could use whatever you want on it, to be honest, if you want to prop it up. I'm just going to keep mine nice and flat and simple and make it easy to post. And then all I'm going to do is peel off the back, and then I'm actually going to lie this flat. Let's see if I can line it up, stick it down, and then using the rhinestones, I can get them out of the packaging. I'm just going to get 2 small ones. I don't want to stick. There we go. And I'm going to put them at either end of the sentiment. And there we go. And there's your card made. Voila, nice and simple. Still folds flat for postage, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you like them. If you give it a go and you make one, let me know. Put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you see a project that you'd like to do, yeah, just let me know. Anyway, all the measurements are going to be in the blog post, which I will put in the description below. If you like my videos, give them a thumbs up. You know, feel like subscribing, sharing them. Yeah, so anyway, have a good day. Bye.